Hello, everybody. Welcome to episode 3 of Small Streamer Diaries. Today, we are going to be talking about moderation with my good friend, AbbyArtFox. Abby, hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for being here with me today. How are you?
I'm doing super well. I'm so happy to be here. It's so funny. We talk to each other on screen or like in chat all the time.
Yeah.
And so it just kind of feels like we're just kind of watching a stream again.
I know,
Just in
right?
chat.
So, Abby,
Yeah, but
if you
thanks for
could just
having me.
thank you for being here. So, Abby, if you could just do a little introduction of yourself.
Absolutely. I'm Abby. I go by AbbyArtFox on Twitch. I crawl around the Twitch sphere as I'm just kind of like a universal mod. I find myself modded in chats quite often just based on the people that you end up interacting with. So I'm just kind of like mod extraordinaire on Twitch.
Yes, that is how I met you. Well, actually, I met you right before you became a mod, but that is why I chose you to talk about moderation. But you also stream.
True, yeah. Yes, I do stream. I do a variety of art on my stream. I do anything from like oil painting to digital art on my iPad. So I'm not super consistent, and really it's just to have company in the studio. So usually it's just a lot of me with my cats and
Yes.
doodling. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah, Abby does not stream super often, but we are working on that.
Yes.
But she does do super cool art. I will have a link to her Twitch channel and her Etsy shop in the description, so please go check that out. Okay, so Abby, I've known you for a while. I met you right before you became a moderator, actually, in Gnarly's channel. So I remember I talked to you a lot in chat, and then I went on vacation. And then when I came back, you had a moderator badge, and I was like, oh, so you're a mod now. So how did you get started with being a moderator?
Well, it's funny because I have a love-hate relationship with algorithms, but algorithms have really brought me to where I am on Twitch and with my mod status and stuff like that. I actually, the stream that you mentioned, Gnarly, I just wanted to watch the Witcher Expo with some people. And so I had just found someone who was streaming the Witcher Expo, and it happened to be Gnarly. And it was great because I hopped into chat, and there were there was Sheriff, who's our mutual friend who was a moderator at the time. He immediately was there to welcome me, and there were a bunch of other people in chat just to welcome me. And it was a really immediate like group hug, like, oh, welcome in. Yeah, we're all watching the Witcher Expo. It felt like someone handed me a beer, like, you know, as I walked in.
Yeah. So did you want to be a moderator?
Not necessarily. I think that I ended up spending a lot of time in the chat, and I ended up getting to know the people. And part of being a moderator is understanding the community vibe. And that's why you're not going to just pop into a chat, and you can't really expect to be modded the same day, because you're not going to necessarily have a good rapport with the streamer if you're not spending like consistent time there. So it's just a matter of like having been in there for a certain amount of time, being pretty active in chat, but more so just like trying to welcome people into chat and creating an environment where people are talking. And it's basically like kind of like backup for the streamer.
Yeah.
You know, it helps to keep chat going, and it keeps the streamer has like kind of two modes of functioning, like focusing on what they're working on and chat, you know. So I found myself interacting so much, and I just was like, can I make my time useful here?
Yeah.
So yeah, I got my moderator, I got my sword.
Okay. So was Gnarly's channel the first channel you modded for?
Yes, it was.
Okay.
And I remember I wasn't very familiar with modding. I was pretty new to Twitch at the time. And so Sheriff had reached out to me because he was the moderator at the time. And he asked, like, you know, I could use some backup. And I talked to Gnarly about it, and we think that you would be totally responsible with your sword, because part of it is, like I had mentioned, understanding kind of like the culture of the chat, but being trustworthy enough to take immediate action if there's like a troll who comes in and starts picking on someone.
Yeah.
And so you just like I think that I represented those qualities.
Yeah.
Represented those qualities, and it's just kind of naturally happens, I think.
Yeah. Okay, so you were asked to be a mod. You didn't like go and ask like, hey, can I be a mod? Or apply for a mod.
And I know that there are streams that you can apply for like a mod badge and stuff. But for me, I think that the most effective way to kind of delegate that kind of, you know, quote unquote power in chat, you know, to be able to keep people from speaking, like you do need to be familiar with the tools and everything too.
Yeah. So how many channels do you mod for now?
Oh my goodness. Well, I have serious mods, and then I have like jokey mods.
Okay.
And those are two very separate things. But I take all my mod roles very seriously. I'd say that I'm a mod in about 6 different Twitch streams, and they all kind of stream at different times because I don't want to like be a mod for 4 people that are streaming at the same time, because you're not actually putting the effort that it takes to be a mod, you know, in all of those streams. So, you know, it's just kind of like where I've ended up kind of spreading out my time naturally. So, but I have been modded in the past out of pure meaning, like just in case Sheriff needs to be held down in chat. It's like after 420 and we get Sheriff After Dark. It's like sometimes it'll be like, okay, we're giving Abby a sword because Sheriff is going crazy.
Yeah.
You know? So, but I do take those swords seriously, and I usually end up keeping them. So
yeah. Okay. So what do you like the best about being a moderator?
Oh, I'd have to say all the people that I've met. I have made actual, like, here we are.
Yeah.
I've made actual friendships where like I want to hang out with people after work. That's like, even my real life friends, I'm not that usually like that, but part of modding is you end up meeting so many people. And, you know, I'm not necessarily talking to everyone who's on my same time zone. So, you know, it could just be like this really quick thing where I just drop into this one person every day when I know they're having their cup of tea and I'm like winding down. You know, you just make those kinds of connections really easily. And that's been my favorite thing.
Yeah. And you meet people you never would otherwise.
Oh, absolutely. And then I think one of the other beautiful things that I've seen, especially with mods like Sheriff, is kind of the aspect of community merging, where suddenly you're seeing people that hang out in that stream over in this stream that you're usually hanging out in. And then like you start seeing more people, and then suddenly the streamer is talking about someone you know, and then like the discords are starting to cross over, and that's also a lot of fun.
Yeah, so Sheriff McLawdog is another one of our really good friends on Twitch. I actually met him when he was a mod as well for Gnarly's stream. We have another friend, Gnarly, who's also a Twitch streamer. And then through Sheriff and Gnarly, I've met Abby, and then Abby and Sheriff, they got along super, super well. And then now they, like Abby was saying, they brought in like all these different like streamers and mods. They had like Sheriff, Abby, Code Synth, another one of our good friends. Like there's a bunch of people that they all put like one Discord together, like a joint Discord, which I've never seen before, but it works really, really well. Like everybody has their own channel.
Yeah, it's amazing. I am part of so many Discords, and it sucks because I desperately want to put all of the time I possibly can into each one. And I don't want to get annoyed by a notification, but it's a notification, you know? Like it's so nice to consolidate it into one place and you're not getting pinged from everywhere. And but I think that was really dependent on how much crossover we have as streamers. That's a pretty critical role in that, I'd say.
Okay, so what is the thing you like the least about moderating?
The thing that I like the least about moderating are the really uncomfortable moments where you do need to take matters into your own hands. And I've had moments in the past where, like, say the streamer is on like a BRB screen, and they're not there to necessarily ask if something kind of is making you uncomfortable in chat, and the streamer isn't immediately available and you have to make that quick decision.
Yeah.
And there can be retaliation. I've gotten people that have like tried to dox me and like have tried to get into my Discord, and like,
really? I didn't know that.
Yeah, like it's pretty weird how people can get personally offended by it. And
yeah,
it's hard because as a moderator, you're always facing the issue of interpreting text. And you can't always determine people's like tone or their intentions when they're making a joke, especially when you're in that kind of like edge community where, you know, some jokes can fly, but it's really teetering. And well, I said that and it was funny, but if so-and-so said that, it wouldn't be funny, kind of gray area. And that's where modding can get really difficult. But you got to trust yourself in those situations. That's why you're picked as a mod. You know, odds are if it's giving you a yucky feeling, someone else in that chat is also feeling that yucky feeling.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. So how did you feel like the first time you really had to, you know, like put your foot down on somebody being inappropriate in chat? Like, how did you feel? Like, were you uncomfortable? Did you feel nervous about doing it?
I felt a little nervous about it at first. The first experience that comes to mind, I was really lucky because Sheriff McLawdog was also online and he was also in chat with me. And he had actually kind of gotten to the point of wanting to stop a conversation in chat before even I had. And so he had gotten like a little frustrated. And then it had like kind of crossed over to a point where it was like Sheriff had to dismiss himself from the chat. And it was one of those moments where it was like, oh, that was a trust yourself moment where like Sheriff and I should have whispered each other and like, you know, done that behind the scenes. And so that was like a learning moment as people who need to mod together, because you don't want to step on any toes. I was like a brand new mod, but it was like, I, at that point, should have backed Sheriff up and stopped the conversation.
Yeah.
You know? And so, but that was, like I said, a learning lesson. And that's how we've become the Fox and the Hound mod team.
Yeah.
You know, where it's a beautiful, seamless machine at this point. But
yeah,
it's all about trusting your gut and making sure that people in chat are comfortable, because if one person is uncomfortable, it's just not worth it.
Yeah. Okay. You know,
so the joke's not that funny.
Yeah, right. Okay, so you need to have a really good mod team with you as well. In order to mod effectively. Like, have you ever modded by yourself? Have you ever like been the only moderator of a channel?
I have. I haven't really encountered anything too overwhelming when I've been by myself. I think that probably the most intimidating thing that can happen when you're modding by yourself is when you get a big raid. And I have encountered that before, because when you get a raid and you don't necessarily immediately recognize the raider's name, you're like, is it a hate raid?
Yeah.
What do I do? You know? But luckily I haven't experienced anything like that. I have experienced like really big raids and having to kind of like hold on to the reins and welcome people in, and like kind of, you know, you're putting up a little fence, you know, you're kind of drawing a line, you know, just making sure that you understand what kind of community it is.
Yeah.
So, you know, that kind of mod team really does come in handy in those kinds of situations.
Yeah.
So not something I really enjoy encountering when I'm modding by myself.
Yeah. All right. So, how much of a time commitment would you suggest people commit to before they say, okay, yes, I'll be a mod for this streamer?
Yeah. That's
because it just seems like, actually. Yeah, it just seems like it takes up a lot of your time.
Yeah. Well, and when Sheriff had reached out to me initially to ask me to be a mod, I was really nervous because I'm like, I've got a full-time job.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on Twitch on the sidelines, you know, kind of like tapping in my keyboard over here, tapping in my keyboard over here. And so it really depends on the stream and the streamer. if it's a really active chat and you're one of two mods, you should really be in a place where you're passively working and you're more actively focused on chat. But if you're in a stream with, I'd say like under 60 people, that's still a pretty manageable passive thing, because people are usually really good in chat. If someone is acting out of line, it doesn't really necessarily always take a mod to tone them down. Like streamers do a great job at it, especially if chat's not moving too fast. But yeah.
Okay.
I forgot your question.
How much of a time commitment would you suggest people make before committing to being a mod?
I would put away like at least like a good passive amount of time where you're glancing at chat at least, like, I'd say you're glancing at chat every 5 minutes, making sure that, the streamer's chill. If any, I always have my earbuds in, so it's almost like passive noise in a way, like your mom's vacuuming, in the background. But when a streamer and a mod have really good communication, like it's just like a little change of tone, and you can tell the stream is changing. Like either they're winding down, so then you return to chat and you help them out. So you do need to be in a place where you're at your computer most of the time.
Yeah.
But yeah, it mostly depends on the stream, I'd say.
Okay. So let me ask you for some kind of like advice now. So let's say, somebody wanted to ask somebody to be a mod, and, I don't know. It always felt really hard for me to like ask somebody to be a mod, because it just seems like you're like asking so much of somebody. Like you're asking for their time and their work to mod your stream, and then they don't really like get anything out of it. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, I know you said, you get to make friends and all that stuff, but in terms of like, when I'm streaming, I am like, I'm live, I'm discoverable. People are coming in and subscribing to me, or, when I was on Twitch, following me, things like that. Like I'm growing when I'm live. But, with moderators, when they're modding, they don't get to really like grow. They're just like doing work for you. So how do you suggest that somebody goes and asks somebody to be a mod if they wanted somebody?
I think that just being genuine about appreciating that kind of time that you're asking someone to put in is a great start. Honestly, if someone's spending that kind of time in your stream, odds are they would love to be asked. That's kind of what I've learned. And I'll even kind of get the itch where I'm like, I've been hanging out a lot in the stream and I haven't been asked to get modded yet.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm the mod extraordinaire, so I do take personal offense to that.
Yeah. I'm getting some hints here.
Yeah. There you go. I wouldn't be afraid at all, honestly, because the worst thing that they can do is say no. Maybe if you are concerned about specific things like the time commitment that they would need to make, you just preference that when you ask.
Yeah.
I would have loved to have been asked with an actual request other than a meme mod. Just like, Abby, take care of Sheriff when he's here.
Yeah.
But just being honest and letting them know, like, this is kind of, I'm asking you to do this, and this is also what I'm asking while I'm asking that, I just need you to be here, like, for this kind of amount of time. Just being open with them. I think that they would, honestly, most people that are spending hours watching streams would love to mod, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So hypothetically, if I were to come to you and be like, Abby, I want you to be a mod, and I would say, like, can you mod for me like 5 hours a week? That would be preferable for me to just come forward and say, like, give you a time commitment, or ask you for a time commitment.
Yeah. Or just like, I would say more so, instead of asking, maybe just acknowledging, like, I've noticed that you're in my stream a lot. And since you're in my stream so much, like, do you mind while you're here modding? Yeah. Or if it's someone who's not necessarily in your stream all the time, I think that asking them if they have the time to come in and be in your stream. In that case, I would go up front and be like, maybe like, an hour a night, couple hours a night, like that kind of thing. But if it's someone who's existing in your chat, just acknowledging the kind of time they've already spent, they're not going to change it, especially after you've said that you've noticed it.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, cool. Well, I'm going to keep that in mind.
Okay.
For the future.
Well, yeah. Well, and I had some questions about modding on YouTube, and I was wondering if you had any experience with it.
Okay, yeah. Not really, except for my own stream. But you know, it's honestly not that different than Twitch.
Okay.
I mean,
what kind of tools?
Well, they don't really have anything different than Twitch, I guess. Like, I mean, you can like, you know, ban somebody, time somebody out. It's a little bit harder with the user interface. That's a general issue with YouTube is the user interface.
Well, and Twitch.
Yeah.
Neither are very friendly.
Yeah. I mean, Twitch is better than YouTube, but still could use some improvement. But like on YouTube, it's even harder to just find stuff in general, including the moderation tools. Like, because I mod my own stream pretty much all the time.
Right.
And like, I only have one moderator and we pretty much stream at the same time these days. So we can't really mod each other now. So I had to like do mod exploration myself in my own channel. I was like, okay, where is this? Like, if I have to ban somebody, where do I do that? If I have to time somebody out, where do I do that? But YouTube, I think it also doesn't like have as many things you need to do because it doesn't have like channel rewards. Like if anybody doesn't know, on Twitch, when you're a mod, you have a little thing where you can see all the channel rewards in case the streamer missed a channel reward redemption. You can see all of them, and then you can remind the streamer, like if you notice they haven't acknowledged or done the channel reward, you can just go remind them like, hey, this person redeemed this channel reward and you haven't done it yet.
Yeah. You can also refund points. That's been a fun thing for me lately.
Oh yeah. How do you do that?
It's like in the mod view for Twitch.
Okay.
But if someone redeems something and like the streamer doesn't want to do it, or if I'm feeling particularly cheeky, I'll just refund their points.
Yeah.
Because
if you're feeling like a generous god that day.
Yes. Yeah. But there are for that note, there are a lot more things to be worried about on Twitch, it sounds like, than on YouTube.
Yeah.
Given time.
Yeah, because YouTube.
Are there sorry.
As far as I know, YouTube doesn't have like a mod view like on Twitch. So if anyone doesn't know, like on Twitch, they put this in like fairly recently, I think like within the past couple of years recent. They added like this whole like mod view on Twitch where you have this whole like different layout where you can look at like channel actions and like the channel reward queue and like an activity feed.
Yeah, you're like kind of seeing what the streamer sees on their side, like all of the controls that they have. It's basically what they delegate to you.
Yeah.
Like you can change the stream title and the category for them and that kind of thing.
Yeah, I don't believe YouTube has that, but then also YouTube, like you don't have to deal with as much because there's just less stuff going on in the chat. So you don't really have as much involved in moderation on YouTube.
Okay. Do you have stream elements? Like, do you have like the alerts and stuff set up on your stream, or is that kind of just more common on Twitch?
Yes, I do have alerts. Although for raids, which are called live redirects on YouTube, which is
I was wondering what they were called. Thank you.
It's a silly name. YouTube, please change that name. Everyone calls it raids anyway. Like even people who like work for YouTube on Twitter, they'll just call them raids anyway because nobody even knows what a live redirect is. They just call it a raid anyway. Yeah. So I mean, I think, I understand like YouTube wanted to differentiate itself from Twitch, but I mean, Facebook also calls it raids. I mean, I'm like,
really?
I'm like, you might as well just call it raids. But anyway, they didn't put in live redirects / raids until like, I want to say like a year ago. And so I don't even have an alert for that because I use Streamlabs and it's just not integrated with Streamlabs. Like if I go to my Streamlabs right now and look at all my alerts, there isn't even an option for raids because it's just like ridiculous. Not integrated yet. And then, you know what? I used to not even realize when somebody rated me on YouTube because YouTube itself didn't have like a message either. Like really? I remember one time I got rated by somebody and I didn't even realize they had rated me until people in the chat were doing like a raid message. And I was like, did I just get rated? but now YouTube has a little message pop up that tells you when somebody's rating.
Well, that's good. They just expect you to see your numbers jump and like you assume.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess. I don't know. Okay. I think, yeah, they were just like working on one thing at a time, I guess. They were like, okay, well, we have raids now. Now we're going to work on the message like notification for a raid. I don't know. Yeah.
Check this box. Check this box.
Yeah, but now I know when I'm being rated. But I still don't have a little like alert with the little sound pop up like I did on Twitch. But for like a new subscriber or like a new donation, I do.
Yeah, I was curious how that worked with the crossover with like Streamlabs and stuff.
Yeah,
for YouTube.
Mm-hmm.
Because like honestly, I was joking about this the other day on my stream. I put 0 effort into my stream while I'm not live. And there are so many tools at my disposal on the Twitch side that like I'm thinking of you YouTube streamers, because I want you to know I was a full-fledged YouTube stream supporter. I started streaming on YouTube.
What, did you really?
A couple years ago. Mm-hmm.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it was like it was the first platform that I started streaming on. But I didn't find, I was not very good at streaming because I'd never done it before. And I didn't know how to get discovered or like work the discoverability or anything like that. And then I ended up just kind of like giving in and going to Twitch because I knew that I could get more viewers on Twitch.
Mm-hmm.
And thus I found Gnarly, so I don't regret it because that means I found you.
Yeah. Aw.
But yeah, I originally started on YouTube, and I remember kind of going to bat for YouTube when I was at a party one time. We were talking about like how I think Twitch and YouTube was just rolling out some new stream tools, and it had come up, and I was like going all gung ho for YouTube, and and they're like, no, Twitch has got the Discord thing, and like it's totally different than YouTube.
Yeah.
YouTube, I feel like the advertising kind of shoots them in the foot a little bit, because there's always some issue with someone and advertising over at YouTube. I feel like someone's getting demonetized.
Yeah.
Not to talk badly about YouTube.
Yeah. Well, I will say that I think that YouTube is pretty good at like, because I see it all the time on Twitter. Like I follow Team YouTube, which is like their support Twitter account. People tweet at them all the time about their account, and they're pretty good at like helping people out. Although I will say that the ad viewing experience, I think, is better on YouTube, because you can skip ads, and then YouTube also like will know when they've shown you an ad. So if they've just shown you an ad, they won't show you another ad in a certain period of time. Twitch is like, you get hit with like 9 unskippable ads, and then you go to the next stream, and Twitch doesn't know if they've just shown you an ad. So you get hit with like another 9 unskippable ads.
One of the worst things is like when you're in like streaming and someone in chat is like, sorry, I have 6 ads, BRB. And I'm like, I'm sorry. Can't do anything about it.
Yeah. But anyway, this was not supposed to turn into like a Twitch versus YouTube.
I apologize.
No, you're good.
You down that path.
No, you're good. This is about moderation, Abby. Moderation.
I'm sorry. I'm still mad that they took you from me. Okay? I'm sorry. I'm
still on Twitch. I just don't stream there anymore, but I'm still there.
Oh, I guess I could just subscribe to you and I'd still get the emotes, huh? Maybe I should just do that.
On Twitch, yeah. Yeah, you could.
I was just saying, I miss your emotes.
Oh, thank you. I know they're cute, right?
They're so cute. Do you have emotes on YouTube or like a emote adjacent?
Well, so you can have emotes like you do on Twitch. Like you can upload your own emotes, but only after I think it's only after you get monetized or something. You have to hit a certain It's not as easy as it is on Twitch.
Okay, got it.
But I mean, like,
anyway, I digress.
One of the reasons I went to YouTube was because, you know, they didn't have all the stuff that Twitch has. And so I wanted to be like on a platform early, you know, like where it wasn't so oversaturated and I could be like one of the first ones there. And
I feel like that's a great move. I feel like YouTube has got to be working on something.
Yeah.
You know, something with the streaming, because it's proved to stick around.
I'm hearing on Twitter that YouTube is making a lot of big changes that are coming soon, including to their live streaming. I don't know what that means because they're keeping it under wraps for now, but it could mean more moderation things too. I'm not sure.
Yes.
And like a different user interface for moderation. I don't know.
Exactly. And I feel like they have so many tools at Google at their disposal that if they have the right people on the project, it will blow Twitch out of the water.
Yeah.
And it should, you know, at this point. I love you long time, Twitch, but like it's not great. Like it could be better.
Yeah.
So if YouTube can pull out all the stops, catch us all over at Rebecca MC's channel. We're already all over there. But
yeah, I feel like
rating into her because we'll actually be streaming.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I feel like Twitch has not been making very good decisions lately. I you know, I have a lot of friends on Twitch, including you, and I don't appreciate how Twitch like treats you guys. I don't think they treat their creators and their viewers very well.
I agree. And, you know, I think that this kind of falls into sort of a modding category, but the way that they treat, you know, some streamers versus other streamers, like there was that recent ban, you know, that 7-day ban for that woman on stream, who, I mean, I don't even know how much I can say about that, but it's wild that she did a sexual act on stream basically and only got banned for 7 days.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Twitch?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, as a mod, that's like permaban anyone that comes into chat saying anything bad, but like that's okay.
Yeah,
I don't know.
I agree.
That was really disappointing.
Yeah. And YouTube is continuously doing more stuff with their streaming. So like they, you know, the live redirects or raids, they only put those in like last year or so. Because I know when I started on YouTube, which was last September, so just over a year now, they didn't even have raids.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you.
Okay. Yeah.
And then
when was your 1 year? Oh my god.
Yeah, I started on Twitch in June of 2021, and then I moved to YouTube in September of 2021. So yeah, I just passed a year on YouTube.
Well, congratulations on your year on YouTube. I didn't want that to just breeze by. Okay. Sorry, continue.
I appreciate it. And so when they started with raids, they started with only well, first of all, not everybody can do a raid, but everyone can get a raid. Like everyone can receive a raid, but like I can't raid people yet because I have to have a certain amount of subscribers, or I can't remember the milestone. But you have to hit a certain milestone. Yeah, you have to hit a certain threshold in order to give raids to somebody else. But when they started, you couldn't just get raids from anyone either. You had to either add people to like an approved raiding list. So only those people on the list could raid you, or you had to make like your subscriptions public. But now they just put in literally just put this in like last week or this week maybe, where you can now allow raids from anybody.
Awesome.
But people don't even know this. Like people aren't even really like keeping up with the YouTube news. So they're like, oh, but Twitch has this and Twitch has this. And I'm like, oh, but YouTube has this now. And people are like, what, really?
Yeah, Twitch does a good job at putting bells and whistles on stuff that's already broken. You know? Yeah, it's silly. Like, oh, my most recent favorite thing that they did on Twitch, which is also sort of mod related. I swear I'm trying to stay on topic. They have taken away hosts on Twitch.
Yes,
so you can no longer host any channel. But it's weird how they do this. They'll like take away a good feature and then add a feature that people have been asking for years.
Yeah.
So now you can do a shout out in chat, and there will be a follow button for whoever you've shouted out in chat.
Oh, okay.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
That's so easy for everyone because, and the wise words of Sheriff McLawdog, following people hurts no one and helps everyone.
Yeah.
And so that's an amazing feature, but why do you have to take hosts away?
Yeah.
I feel like a little child and they're taking things away from me and giving me broccoli.
Yeah.
You know? So it'll be interesting how that affects the modding thing, because shout outs are a big part of some channels where they're like linked to elements and stream elements and stuff like that, where there'll be clips shown. And so it's, you know, there's always a little bit of an adjustment to make when there's an update like that.
Yeah. Yeah, and shout outs, like, they aren't really a thing on YouTube streaming, but really all we do, us YouTube streamers, to do shout outs, we just like post a link in chat and it's like, okay, here you go. I mean, it's like, that's our workaround for now.
Yeah.
So speaking of moderation tools, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no. I was just gabbing.
So speaking of moderation tools, is there anything outside of the moderation tools that Twitch gives you that you use for moderation?
Not necessarily, other than good common sense. And a lot of my kind of, you know, you need to be pretty consistent when you're working with your Twitch chat. And if you haven't, like the Discord kind of crossover, usually if you're modded in a Twitch stream, you're modded in a Twitch or in a Discord.
Yeah.
But I'm not familiar if there are any tools that I could be like downloading to help me mod, because maybe if that exists, maybe I should do that. Yeah,
I don't know either. That's what I was curious about. Yeah, that's why I asked the question, because I was like,
know something?
Because I was thinking about, you know, questions to ask you, and I was just thinking like, do moderators use anything like outside of the platform itself? Because like, you know, as a streamer, I use, you know, Streamlabs and whatnot, and so I was like,
I would say that knowledge of those programs is like super helpful.
Yeah.
Especially because like one of the only tools that are pretty unique channel to channel when you're a moderator are the commands, because each streamer has their own command set up.
Yeah.
So that's the only thing that you really need to learn in between streams, where the tools are different. Like, so if you want text to speak, you know, it might be a command in this channel and a different command in another channel.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the only kind of thing that you need to imprint in your brain.
Okay.
Yeah. And if you're super lucky, you'll get your own commands and there'll be exclamation point fart too. Like my command in Sheriff's chat.
Yeah. Or because I went to YouTube, my good friends have made me my own command for Twitch, because fake shout out. Because if anybody doesn't know, the shout out command on Twitch, it's linked with Twitch, and so it just you do like a shout out and then just the person's username on Twitch, and it'll give them like a little shout out, like, go follow this person. However, since I'm on YouTube, it doesn't do that for me. Well, it does do it for me, but on my Twitch channel, which I don't stream on anymore. So my good friends AbbyArtFox and Sheriff McLawdog made me a special command. I think Code Synth also made me my own special command.
I think Code was a big proponent of it. I think because Code has streamed on YouTube as well, actually. He has some experience streaming on YouTube, so he's all gung-ho with the YouTube stuff. So he had your link in chat in like a hot second, and Sheriff was like, you know what we're gonna do, we're gonna make it a command, because Sheriff loves making commands.
He does. He has a lot of them.
A lot. He had he has at least one for every letter of the alphabet.
Really? I didn't know he had gone that far.
That's the most recent achievement. That was at one point he put in the Discord, he was like, okay, we need 26 more commands. These are the letters we're missing.
Oh my god.
Okay, let's go.
All right, so what do you wish you had known before you started modding, or what do you wish somebody had told you?
I might need to think about that for a second.
Okay. You can think about it. I will wait.
Okay. I'm trying to think desperately. What do I wish someone had told me? I wish that someone had told me, this is actually pretty genuine. I wish someone had told me how many friends I was going to be making in the process of this, because I have adopted so many friends across the country and across the world. It's a little hard to keep up.
Yeah.
I knew that I was going to be meeting people and like getting to know them, welcoming them into stream and stuff, but I was not ever anticipating getting the kind of friends that I have. And you know, it's work to be a friend. Like, you know, it takes me 6 to 8 business days to reply to a text message on average. But it's teaching me a lot.
Yeah.
It's been great in that respect, but you know, you end up meeting a lot of people.
Yeah.
So I don't know if that's like a great answer, but it's a very me answer.
Yeah,
you know
that's any answer you want to give is a great answer. To be honest, that was like super wholesome, and I was not expecting something like so wholesome and nice. Because like, you know, usually when you ask people that question, they answer something with something like very negative, like, "Oh, I didn't know I was going to have to deal with so many trolls" or something. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like, I think that I was in chats enough and I was kind of just experiencing it all. Nothing really has surprised me very much.
Yeah.
Like, in that respect, I'm kind of like, oh, you can call me a name. Like, you can do whatever you want. I got this pretty little sword and I can ban you. Like, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay. So
otherwise, it's been a great experience.
Yeah. Okay, so can you elaborate on that a little bit? Like, what do you mean you weren't like expecting to meet so many people or make so many friends? Like, did you think, you know, you'd be a moderator and you just kind of talk to people and then end stream and then you just like never talk to them again?
Yeah, kind of. You know, I have this, I think that it's just a personality trait of mine where I'm just kind of like I'm good at turning my brain off. And so it's like I'm going to be in stream and chat a little bit and then like go back to my work and stuff like that. And I never anticipated, for example, wanting to invite anyone from Chicago to my wedding, you know? Like I wasn't anticipating having that involvement in my life. Like I've never wanted to go to Canada before, but now I want to go to the middle of Canada, Moose Jaw. I'm like, that's going to put me, I've looked to see how much it would cost to go to Moose Jaw, Canada. I'm like, just knowing Sheriff is going to cost me $1,000 in my lifetime at some point.
Well, listen, you didn't tell me that you were looking into that because I would go with you.
Well, that's good to know. I was going to say, please don't be offended because I have looked into going to Texas. My dad did live in Texas, but it was a relief to know that you also have a connection in San Francisco because we can be California girls.
Listen, we will meet in real life one day. It will happen.
Oh, 100%. 100%. I've been lucky enough to meet, so far I've met one person that I met on Twitch in real life. And I definitely anticipate broadening those numbers.
Yeah. Okay, so do you have any advice for new moderators?
New advice. I would say to communicate a lot with your streamer, especially in the beginning. Do you like how you're a streamer? You've adopted a streamer.
Yeah.
I think that it's really important to establish kind of like ground rules, like what's the limit? Where do I take control and trust my gut and kind of, you know, like I said, the limit. I think that you really should feel confident in that before you take on too many responsibilities, especially if you're modding by yourself. And just if it's your first time modding, make sure you communicate that to the streamer because they might just want to make sure that their DMs are visible and that if you have a question, they can answer you right away.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily like I'm super inexperienced and like don't trust myself. Like, you know, if it's your first time, let them know. They'll help you through it.
Yeah.
That's been my experience.
Yeah.
For sure. And especially if there's another mod that you really respect, either in that same channel or another channel, you can reach out to them because we're literally online all the time. You know, there's lots of resources to go to if you're a new moderator because everyone's willing to give you their advice.
Okay. So a lot of teamwork.
Yes. Yes.
A lot of teamwork makes the dream work.
Makes the dream work. Ask your questions. If something is just not hitting right, just ask your streamer. Just be like, is this okay? Like, should I let this go?
Yeah.
And usually you just need to ask that once, and that's how you figure out where your line is. And then it'll be seamless after that.
Yeah. Okay, awesome. Well, that is all I wanted to talk about today. Do you have any last words or anything else you want to tell the masses about moderation?
Other than it's been just one of the best experiences in my life. I mean, I know that I said I wish someone had warned me how many friends I was going to make. It's not necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah, super happy. Wish somebody had warned me. Like, you be careful, you're gonna make too many friends.
But it's just been such a fun thing, and I feel like it's made me a better person because I've seen a lot of really nice people and a lot of really mean people, and it gives you kind of this new sort of measurement for humanity in a way. And honestly, most people that I encounter are super nice. And so it kind of just makes me like the world a little bit more, if I'm being completely honest.
Aw.
Yeah. It's true. I do believe that.
Oh, Abby, I appreciate that. I was not expecting this episode to be like so wholesome, but I love it.
Well, I do. I love all of the people that I've encountered. Like, you're all my friends.
Aw. Oh,
I wish I weren't so far away.
I know. Yeah, you stop that.
I will.
Okay. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Abby, thank you so much for being here. I will have all your links in my descriptions. I put this up on YouTube and Spotify, so I'll have your links in both of those descriptions. Please go check out Abby. Check out her stream. We are working on getting her to stream some more. But otherwise, check out her Etsy shop. She does these really cool custom pet portraits. They are so nice. I'm gonna commission you one day.
Oh, it would be an honor. Oh my goodness. I love pet portraits. They're so much fun.
Yeah, I can tell.
Yeah, but thank you so much. This was I feel like we finally got to sit down, and even though we didn't have coffee, I feel like we just had a cup of coffee.
Yeah, right.
Chatted a little bit.
Yeah, we should definitely do this again sometime.
We should play some Mario Kart or something.
We should.
Yeah, we'll get Mrs. McLawdog in on it. Apparently she's amazing.
Okay. Okay, we will do that. All right, guys, thank you so much for listening. We will see you on the next episode of Small Streamer Diaries. Bye.
Bye.